In many ways, the Beagle can be thought of as a miniature foxhound, compact, strong, muscular, and perfectly built for a life of movement. Although its legs are relatively short, its body is solid, its skeleton strong, and its muscles well developed. Even its name has an old history. It is thought to come from an ancient Celtic word meaning little. The Beagle belongs to one of the oldest families of hunting hounds. Originally bred for small game, it became valued for its remarkable nose, determination, and ability to follow a scent for long periods. Its exact beginnings are impossible to establish, but there is no doubt that it is a very old British breed. It was already known centuries ago and was even mentioned in the works associated with the famous bard Ossian. By the time of the Tudor kings, the Beagle had become a favourite among royalty. King Henry VII was particularly fond of these little hounds, and Queen Elizabeth I was not only an admirer but also a breeder. She developed beagles so small that they could supposedly be carried in the pocket of a hunting coat or in a sthlbag. Other members of the British royal family also appreciated the breed, including James I, George IV, and Queen Victoria. Over the centuries, the Beagle gradually became established as one of Britain's best-known hunting dogs. The first Beagle Club was founded in 1880, and in 1890 the first official British breed standard was drawn up. It even included a miniature variety, standing at around 26 centimeters at the withers. These tiny hounds were especially useful for hunting hare on foot. Hunters would work with packs of perhaps 8 to 15 dogs, following the animals across the countryside. As time passed, the Beagles spread far beyond Britain. Hunting societies established packs, and working trials were organized using both natural game and artificial trails. The breed eventually found admirers throughout Europe and in countries as far away as Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, South Africa, and the United States. In Denmark, where the Beagle arrived during the 1960s, the breed became particularly popular as a companion dog, although it was also used in agility competitions. In the United States, Beagles became famous for rabbit hunting. In Brazil they were used in packs, while in South Africa they were employed in hunting jackal. France also developed a strong affection for the breed. The Beagle arrived there during the 19th century and quickly gained favor among hunters of small game. Its popularity was not simply a matter of fashion. For many hunters, the Beagle was a practical answer to changing times. Food and transport were becoming more expensive, and a smaller hunting dog was cheaper to keep while still being active, energetic, and effective. Hunters appreciated the Beagle for exactly these qualities. It was small without being fragile, strong without being cumbersome, fast, determined, and blessed with an excellent nose. At first glance, it might seem similar to other small hounds such as the Basset. But the two breeds were created according to very different ideas. The Basset was essentially made slower by shortening its legs, while the Beagle was reduced in overall size while preserving proportion and balance. The result was something quite special: a small hound with a harmonious body, strong limbs, and the ability to move with speed and efficiency. The British breeders wanted a dog that could do the work of a hunting hound while remaining small enough to be economical and practical. The Beagle's development in France was also influenced by several important breeders. During the second half of the 19th century, Paul Gallard introduced Beagles to French breeders, including the Chabot brothers, whose dogs became well known for their beauty and hunting ability. Count Boissier also produced excellent Beagles, and his bloodlines became important in the development of European dogs. In France, the Beagle was first used for hare coursing and later became a favorite among small game hunters. Its ability to work alone, in a brace or as part of a pack made it exceptionally versatile. Physically, the Beagle is a medium-sized, compact, and well-proportioned hound. It has a solid skeleton and strong limbs designed for pursuit. Its expression should be alert and determined, but never aggressive or timid. The head is relatively substantial, with a clearly defined stop and a broad, well-developed nose. The nostrils should be wide and open, while the eyes have a gentle expression and are generally dark brown or hazel. The ears are long, set low and rounded at the tips, hanging gracefully close to the cheeks. Its neck is strong and moderately long. The shoulders are well sloped, the forelegs straight and sturdy, and the hindquarters muscular. The feet are strong, compact, and well closed. The body itself gives an impression of strength and compactness, with a straight top line and powerful, elastic loins. The usual height at the withers is approximately 33 to 40 centimeters. The tail is set high, moderately long and carried cheerfully, but it should never curl over the back. The coat is short, dense, and naturally waterproof. Most traditional hound colors are accepted, with the familiar tricolor being especially popular. A white tip to the tail is a characteristic feature. When a beagle runs with a pack, its movement should be lively, free, and powerful. The hindquarters provide strong drive while the front legs reach forward in harmony. A good beagle should never move with a short, restricted stride. Its movement should be elastic, balanced, and efficient, because correct construction is particularly important in a working hound. One of the breed's most distinctive characteristics is its voice. A hunting beagle does not remain silent when it finds a scent. It gives tongue, producing the characteristic musical and persistent sound that allows the hunter to follow the progress of the chase. Unfortunately, the very qualities that made the beagle such a successful hunter also made it extremely attractive as a companion dog. Its gentle, affectionate nature has won it millions of admirers around the world. Yet a beagle was never designed to spend its entire life lying quietly indoors. It can adapt to apartment living, but it needs long walks and plenty of activity. In open countryside, it may be allowed to run freely in suitable conditions, but care is essential. A beagle that discovers an interesting scent can forget everything else and follow the trail wherever it leads. This remarkable nose has even given the breed another occupation. In the United States, beagles have been used at airports to detect certain agricultural products and foods that travelers are not permitted to bring into the country. Their extraordinary sense of smell makes them surprisingly effective detection dogs. The beagle has also been used for hunting larger game, although this goes beyond its traditional specialization. Experienced hunters understand that the breed's greatest strength is not brute force but persistence. Once it has picked up a trail, it can follow it with remarkable determination even when the scent is faint. One experienced Swiss breeder described the appeal of the breed perfectly. He had bred beagles for 25 years and hunted for even longer. He had originally chosen 2 beagles because he had heard that they were powerful and tireless dogs, and he felt that their temperament suited his own hunting spirit. When used for wild boar, however, the beagle should only be introduced to such demanding work when it is mature enough to have developed its character and has been properly trained to search. There is also an important lesson in the way a beagle returns after a hunt. Some hunters believe that the breed has difficulty finding its way back. In reality, problems often arise because the hunter becomes impatient and starts driving around, calling the dog and constantly changing position. A trained beagle will generally return to the place where it began the search. The hunter must therefore learn to wait, or call the dog calmly if necessary, rather than confusing it by constantly moving around. The beagle may sometimes appear slower than other hounds, but this can be misleading. Its persistence and accuracy often give it an advantage. Even when the scent is weak, the beagle can continue working long after another dog might have given up. When hunting rabbit, the beagle can work alone, in a brace or in a small pack. As the distance to the quarry decreases, its voice becomes increasingly rhythmic and insistent, telling the hunter that the game has been found and disturbed. From Britain and France, another interesting chapter in the story of the beagle developed, the Beagle Harrier. For centuries, British and French breeders debated the origins of this larger hunting hound. The British claimed that beagles and harriers had been crossed to produce dogs specifically suited to hunting hare. The French, meanwhile, maintained that the Beagle Harrier was developed in France by crossing the beagle with the modern harrier, with some influence from French Briquet bloodlines. The idea was straightforward. The beagle possessed an exceptional nose and a powerful hunting instinct, while the harrier contributed greater size and speed. The aim was to combine these qualities into a single hound capable of hunting small and medium-sized game. At first, the results were not uniform. Some dogs looked like oversized beagles, while others resembled smaller harriers. French hunters eventually began working towards a more consistent type, a lighter, smaller harrier with the nose and determination of the beagle. One of the most important figures in this development was Baron François Gérard, an enthusiastic hunter and breeder. His work during the 18th and 19th centuries helped establish the type that became known as the Beagle Harrier. The resulting dogs stood around 45 to 50 centimeters at the withers. They were large enough to follow horses but retained the extraordinary scenting ability inherited from the beagle. Gerard's breeding program produced excellent hunting dogs, although creating a completely uniform physical type proved much more difficult. Eventually, the breed's characteristics became sufficiently stable for the FCI to recognize the Beagle Harrier officially in 1974. The Beagle Harrier is generally used in packs, particularly in France, and is suited to hunting small and medium-sized furred game. It can work in both large and small groups and has also been used for fox and wild boar. Wild boar hunting demands a very particular combination of qualities. A dog must be bold and agile, strong but also cautious, courageous without becoming reckless. The Beagle Harrier possesses these qualities in abundance. It is an enthusiastic, intelligent, and persistent hound. It can follow a trail with remarkable accuracy and courageously face dangerous quarry when necessary. Its movement is powerful yet elegant, and its endurance allows it to remain at work for long periods. When searching for a trail, its head is carried in a position that helps it maintain its speed. Once it finds fresh game, its concentration becomes intense. The tail remains active and expressive, while its powerful voice carries across considerable distances. The Beagle Harrier is versatile enough to work on plains, hills, and mountains, through woods, pasture, and cultivated ground. Depending on the hunting method, it may be used in smaller packs with rifles or larger packs when hunting alongside horses. The breed is particularly valued in France and Belgium and has also achieved success in parts of Italy, Romania, and other European countries. Unlike many ordinary house dogs, the Beagle Harrier remains first and foremost a working hound. Its friendly and docile character can make it pleasant to live with, but its hunting instincts, energy, and strong scent can make it difficult to keep as a purely domestic dog. A revised standard for the Beagle Harrier was approved by the FCI in Vienna on the 6th of October, 1987. It helped distinguish the breed more clearly from the modern Harrier. The ideal Beagle Harrier has an expressive, fairly broad head, a well-developed black nose, dark intelligent eyes and ears that are moderately short and set relatively high. Its shoulders are strong and sloping, its limbs powerful and straight, and its hindquarters muscular. Its chest should be deep enough to provide stamina without becoming excessively broad. The back and loins are short, strong, and muscular, while the abdomen remains reasonably full. The coat is thick but not excessively long. The preferred coloring is the traditional tricolor of tan, black and white, although variations in the markings do not necessarily affect a dog's value as a worker. The movement should be lively, elastic, and free. Height generally ranges from about 45 to 50 centimeters at the withers. But owning a dog, whether a Beagle or a Beagle Harrier, involves far more than choosing a breed for its appearance or hunting ability. A healthy life begins with proper nutrition. It is a mistake to assume that a dog can simply eat whatever people eat. Food that is perfectly digestible for humans may be unsuitable or even harmful to dogs. A balanced canine diet needs the right combination of proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals. Active dogs require more energy than sedentary ones, and growing puppies have particularly demanding nutritional needs. Protein is essential because it forms the basis of muscles and other tissues. Good sources include meat, fish, and eggs, although excessive amounts can also cause problems. Fats provide concentrated energy and are especially important for active working dogs. Carbohydrates can also be useful, but foods such as rice and pasta need to be properly cooked because dogs do not digest raw starch particularly well. Fresh water is just as important as food. It should always be available and changed regularly, especially during hot weather. Puppies require more frequent meals than adult dogs. As they grow, the number of meals can gradually be reduced until they reach adulthood. Health care is equally important. Vaccinations, parasite control, regular veterinary examinations, and good hygiene all play an essential role in keeping a dog healthy. External parasites such as fleas and ticks are more than an annoyance. They can transmit serious diseases. After walks through grass, woodland, or farmland, A dog's coat and skin should be checked carefully, particularly around the ears, armpits, groin, and between the toes. Ticks can transmit serious infections, so prevention and early detection are extremely important. If a dog develops fever, weakness, unusual urine color, or other signs of illness after a tick bite, veterinary attention should be sought promptly. Regular grooming is also part of responsible ownership. The Beagle's short coat is relatively easy to maintain, but brushing helps remove dead hair and allows the owner to notice changes in the skin. Dogs should not be bathed unnecessarily often, because excessive washing can interfere with the skin's natural protective function. Claws should be checked regularly, while dental hygiene should never be ignored. During puppyhood, the temporary teeth are gradually replaced by permanent ones, making regular checks particularly useful. Another serious condition that deserves attention is heartworm disease, caused by a parasite transmitted by mosquitoes. The larvae can eventually develop into adult worms in the heart and pulmonary arteries, placing considerable strain on the cardiovascular system. Dogs that spend a great deal of time outdoors, including working and hunting dogs, can be particularly exposed. Preventive programs are available, but they should be discussed with a veterinarian and used appropriately. And so, after looking at the Beagle from every possible angle, one thing becomes clear. This little British hound is much more than a pretty companion with long ears and an expressive face. Beneath its compact body lies the character of a true working dog, determined, energetic, intelligent, and endlessly curious. It was bred to follow a scent, and that instinct has never disappeared. Give a Beagle an open field and an interesting trail, and you will soon discover that the world looks very different through the nose of a hound. For centuries, people have relied on that nose to find game. Today, the same ability can make the Beagle a companion, a detection dog, an agility competitor, or simply a lively member of the family. But whatever role it plays, the Beagle remains what it has always been at heart, a small dog with the spirit of a much bigger one.